Democracy, what is it? Do we need democracy? I mean, people fight for it. People go to war with it. Countries get ostracized, sanctioned if they're not democratic. And most of these countries which the West say are not democratic, they themselves call themselves democratic. So maybe the word democracy is not clear. What does it actually mean? That's a confusing point. In the Western Hemisphere, we have something called liberal democracy. So it's democracy with a condition, liberal democracy, not democracy. So therefore, if it's a conditional democracy, but it's their condition, therefore other nations you can set conditional democracies based upon their condition. So if you've got a religious society, can they not have a theological democracy, a religious democracy? They should be able to, as long as the principles are religious and people vote for leaders who implement that society, that system. In the West, you can only vote and implement liberal values, a liberal way of life, liberal society, liberal systems. You can't vote for anything else. You can't implement anything else, because that's why it's called a liberal democracy. It's very open. It's very clear. Liberal democracy say we don't care if there's a God or not. You make the rules and laws based upon what the morality of society at that time and what benefits people financially, because it's a liberal democracy living under capitalism. But yet, if you've got religious democracy, it says no. We have rules, we have morals, we have regulations based upon the text, and then people just implement it. But a lot of states which call themselves democratic, the West don't call them democratic because they're not liberal democracies. Therefore, that means that liberal democracy is a dictatorship. It doesn't recognize other states which are not liberal democracy. Therefore, it's a world order. Therefore, liberal democracy is authoritarianism under disguise of very fanciful words that people just buy into, making themselves feel that they could do what they want. They have this thing called freedom, and therefore they're better. But really, if you look at many countries in the West, in the East, they don't follow the same system of law. Majority of the wars in this century have occurred from the West to the East to implement and to get rid of a leader, authoritarianism. And then their yardstick is, because they're not democratic, they're authoritarian. But you're authoritarian as well, because you enforce your liberal values upon a society that doesn't really want it. So think, what is liberal democracy? It's an authoritarian system designed to secularize a nation, which is what we have in the whole of the Western Hemisphere. You can have conservative democracy. Sometimes you do get conservative democracy groups. Some parts of the Republican Party, not all of them, some people are conservative Democrats. They believe the Christian values must rule and laws are made based upon that. But obviously they're always attacked. So think about it. Is democracy, according to the Western definition, democracy correct?